Good morning, my crafty friends. Chantel here, Crafty Designs by Lee. I wanted to come in and do a quick video showing you how I made this card here. I have pre-cut all of my papers except for this here, the jackpot, for time's sake with the video. All of the papers that I'm using today are coming from DCWV's The Heirloom Stack, and I picked that up at Joann's probably. So the first thing I want to do is take this stamp set by Inkadinkadoo, and I'm going to stamp out the word jackpot. Just go ahead and get that out of the way. I'm using a piece of scrap paper and some Memento Tuxedo black ink. I'm stamping that in the ink, and then stamp it onto the paper. Lovely. And we are done with this stamp. I was making a birthday card for someone, and you know, it was for a guy, so I wanted to try to do something a little bit masculine, and I came up with this card here, which was perfect. I'm just gonna fussy cut the word jackpot out of there, and I'm trying to leave a little bit, well, I wanted to, but it's not really much white around the border. Let's cut that off. So we'll just keep going and keep it really close, because I'm going to use some ink to like highlight the edges. So there, that's pretty good right there. That's good enough. And show you the card again. This layer here is this piece of cardstock here, and what I did was I took the symbols and I'll show you what I did. Looks like I'm missing one. It did. Oh, there it is. And I just randomly took them and some Versamark ink, and trying not to really make a pattern out of them, I put them onto, you know what I didn't do? I wanted to try and remove any static from the paper, if there's any static on the paper, and I've already started. So let's see. It's just my little powder pad. I'll do all the areas where I didn't stamp yet. Okay. So now let's go back to stamping. And I'm just randomly stamping each one in different areas. Some are going off the page, which is fine because that's what I want. And then I'll change this one. Grab another. And I'll stamp him also in different spots. And you will see where the stamps ended up laying, you know, once I put the embossing powder on there. I can kind of see it, you know, as I'm stamping, but you won't be able to really see it well. So I'm just going to continue doing that. So I really enjoyed making the card, and I love the way it turned out. So I thought that I would come on here and do a tutorial on, or just to start to finish, on how I did the card. because another inspiration of mine was to use products that I already owned. And so all of the items that you see me using today have come out of the closet and are making their debut on some paper. Alright, so there's that one. And then the last one is the diamond. Let's see. Got a couple spaces where I can put the diamond. Trying not to overlay any place where I have already stamped. Which is kind of difficult to see. Oh, there we go. If I rise the paper up like that, then I can see where there may be a space available. There we go. And then I think one right here. I'm just going to put a couple diamonds next to each other, but that's okay. Alright. So then I took some clear Hampton Arts embossing powder. And really, he can just go in there and get covered up. Because the whole piece is getting covered. There we go. Tap off the excess. And there you can see the images that I embossed there. Alright, so this is the loud part. We are going to heat set our powder. So 1 moment for that. This paper is pretty thin, so I'm trying to keep the heat tool moving while it gets itself together so that I don't burn my paper. And once the heat tool is ready to go, it goes fairly quickly. You can kind of see how the paper is changing colors. And I like to hold my heat tool like on an angle because it seems to burn the embossing powder more evenly than when you stand over it with the heat tool. There you go. So now I have the images in the background of the paper. I'll set that to the side, let it dry a little bit. Another sheet of the paper. Here we have this here, and then I have this sheet here that I'm going to stamp this happy birthday stamp on. I'm going to use that Memento ink again. Just get that stamped up, and it's going to go right in the center. Like so. Looks good to me. And then I took some Tim Holtz vintage photo ink, and I inked up the edges of the jackpot stamp that I fussy cut. And then I also inked up the edges of the happy birthday banner. Now in the other card, I did not ink up the next item that I'm going to show you, but I believe that I'm going to do it with this one so that, and I'm going to go over this just a little bit because I think that might be longer than I need it. But the cards that I cut out of, this is one piece of paper, and I cut some cards out. I didn't go over those in the other card, but I'm going to do it in this one. just to kind of age them a little bit so they don't look so brand new, you know, like a new a new deck of cards. Just a little bit of ink on the edges of that. I am going to be using a standard size card base, the pre-made ones from Recollections you get at Michael's. I have some of those, which I had bought a while ago when they had them on that sale. You get 2 for like $7 or something like that. So here is that card base, and I'm just going to fold it, and then I'll take my bone folder just to crease that edge well before I get to stamping on it, putting, you know, the paper on it. I have this tape here. I really like to use my my ATG, but it's out of tape right now, and so I'm just going to use these little ones, but I love using my ATG gun. So I'm going to take this. Hopefully this has enough tape in it. If not, I'm going to have to get up and get another. But I'm going to put some tape on all 4 sides at the edge, or as close to the edge as possible. And then we're going to put this one down on the card base. And purposely I left, you know, where you can see a little bit of the edge of the white card base. And then we're going to take our piece that we embossed and put some ink on that. And it did kind of buckle a little bit in the drying process, but because it's going flat down on this paper, that is totally okay. So then I want this one right in the middle. Of that piece. There we go. Here's a small piece of the brown. And I only want it to go right there. So we're going to need to shave off just a little bit on the side. The scissor. Just quick and easy. Put some tape on the back of that. Okay. That tape went over the edge. And then we can get that adhered. Not really center, just a little bit below center. So that we will have enough room to put our cards up above. Like so. And our birthday, happy birthday, down below. Which is also... So because I want it centered, let's get that scissor or the pencil first so I can mark out the lines. This one I'm going to take to my cutting machine right quick. And then I'm just going to put a little bit more ink on the edge. So I wanted it to be inked up from edge to edge. So now we can adhere the cards. Like so. And then the jackpot. go. Then he goes up here like that. Jackpots. You know, I'm looking on the other one and he was more brown. There we go. Take off that starkness of the white. And then we can adhere the happy birthday. Down below. And then the cutest thing that I used was some of that liner that you put in your cabinets, and I made a flower with it. So I have some pieces here. I think this is about 6 pieces here. I am going to use this flower. I did a project some time ago and I had a bunch of flowers that were left over, and because you're not even going to see it, you know, once you put the liner on it, I figure it'll work just fine. And I'm going to put these pieces of the liner together and make a flower for the center. And I don't want it to be too big, so I'm just, you know, making small flower centers and going around in a circle. I don't remember where I learned this technique at, but I thought it was super cool. And I've made some one day and was like, wow, that is really pretty. It gives it like a vintagey look, you know, so I thought it was really pretty. So now I just can't stop making them. I'm surprised I didn't have another one already made. I must have used them all. Put one right here. You know, you keep going around and around trying to make it as round as possible. And leaving space for your centerpiece also. Put that one right there. Yep. And then this last one. I use them all. And you only need a very little tiny dot of glue. Don't need very much. Plus it has the holes in it, so it goes right through anyway. So then there is our little flower, and if you wanted to go and trim it down, you know, cut around it to make it more circular, you could, but I like it the way it is. In the original card, I used one of these, the glass beads that you put in your in the bottom of like flower pots. You see the ones right there? But in this one I wanted to use one of those rhinestones. So I have a rhinestone here and I'm going to put that in the middle. So I'll just put a little bead of glue on that. And then right down in the middle. So then the last thing will be to adhere this to the card, and then the final parts in the process, I took some stickles, and this is a new one. I took these stickles and I stickled up just around the bottom of the jackpot sign where it's lightest, and it kind of makes it look like it has a little glimmer to it at the bottom. So just a little bit, and then I allow that to dry. I thank you for watching this video and hanging out with me on this day. I hope that you have an awesome, awesome Monday, and I will see you again soon. One more thing I did not do yet is put some rhinestones down at the bottom. But I will do that, and you can see that in the pictures that are at the end. Thanks. Have a great day.